Hey, it's Minius. I wanted to talk a bit about what Mass Effect Andromeda can take from Dragon Age Inquisition. Now, if you've played both series, you know that they have a lot in common, which is unsurprising given that many of the exact same people worked on the both of them. The real prompt for this video came from April's survey leak, which contains a couple of things that look very similar to systems in Dragon Age Inquisition, and I'd be surprised if the Mass Effect team doesn't pull a couple of things from that game. That's not to say that everything in the most recent Dragon Age would be good for Mass Effect, but here are some things that might work. My favorite thing in Dragon Age Inquisition is how powerful you felt. I don't mean your character's abilities, but rather how you were directly in charge of a powerful organization that exerted a large amount of influence over the entire continent. People from all over flocked to your banner, and if you told them to do something, they'd do it. That's not to say that Shepard didn't carry a whole lot of influence over the galactic community. The commander certainly had the ability to persuade people, but not everybody listened.
We have dismissed that claim.
In Mass Effect Andromeda, and I'm acting under the assumption that the Reddit leak is accurate, you lead a colonization attempt, suggesting that you are the one in charge. Even if some organization sent you to Andromeda, they're unlikely to have that much control over what you do from such a gigantic distance. Now, it wouldn't make sense for you to command the same kind of sway that the Inquisitor does, but if you carve out a safe zone in a dangerous sector of space, people are likely to follow you. And if you're in charge, you'll be able to choose what direction you want your people to go in. This time, I do mean the power stat, which in Dragon Age was basically an indicator of how strong your organization was. It made a sort of sense, too. You couldn't move forward into a new area unless you had the manpower and influence to do so. The power stat could be easily increased through side quests like helping locals or closing rifts, and its addition broke up the story nicely. Now, this doesn't exactly translate to Mass Effect since all you really need to send a strike team off to another planet is a strike team and a capable ship. But if you were trying to expand operations, like new settlements and such, it makes sense to have a strong base to launch from. So it's possible that you'll need to make sure your own colony is in order before you move on to a different region, and this might be represented by something similar to the power stat in Dragon Age. After all, sending a large task force off to mine shiny stuff doesn't make sense if everyone in your colony is starving to death.
That's weird.
The War Table was perhaps the most interesting addition to Dragon Age. Opening the War Table allowed you to send out task forces to do all kinds of things, like open a new area, gather resources or influence, and smooth out minor conflicts and situations. We know that this concept is making it into Mass Effect Andromeda at least a little. You'll be able to send out strike teams on missions while you continue the campaign, and they'll return 20 to 30 minutes later with loot. Although there isn't evidence of this system expanding beyond that, it would make sense if it does. For instance, sending out scouting parties to help you map your surroundings and find new planets and points of interest seems like something that would fit in nicely. A small but very welcome change to conversations in Dragon Age was the addition of indicators letting you know what would happen if you say certain things, especially on major story points or potential romantic engagements. This system would translate seamlessly to Mass Effect, whose conversation system is near identical, and it would be nice to know if your clever quip is going to send you to war against someone or cost you a valued squad mate. Throughout your journey in Dragon Age Inquisition, you come across certain minor characters that you could convince to join your cause. Recruiting these agents gave you small bonuses like opening up new War Table missions, as well as reducing the time it took for War Table missions to complete. If there is something similar to the War Table in Mass Effect Andromeda, then it makes sense for you to be able to recruit people to help you with that. Mass Effect agents might also give you mining or scouting bonuses, or perhaps boost stats in other areas through their expertise, like increasing the durability of your armor or increasing the damage of your weapons. One thing that was in Dragon Age Inquisition that we know is going to be in the new Mass Effect is crafting. Now, there really hasn't been any crafting of items in Mass Effect, so it's very difficult to tell how this would work, or even what you could craft. The two things that come quickest to mind are weapons and armor, though crafting high-tech futuristic weaponry is a whole lot more complicated than, say, crafting a sword. We know you have the ability to create mining settlements, which undoubtedly would supply raw materials that could be used for crafting. Perhaps rare elements that have appeared in previous Mass Effect titles like Element Zero and Iridium will need to be harvested. I expect the most important thing in crafting to be the actual acquisition of blueprints or schematics. And if crafting is a major part of Mass Effect Andromeda, getting these blueprints or schematics would be extremely important. Thanks for taking a look at some of the things that Mass Effect Andromeda can take from Dragon Age Inquisition. If there is something in DAI that you want in the new Mass Effect, let everyone know in the comments. Or perhaps there is something from Dragon Age you don't want in Mass Effect. Like elves. I don't want elves to be in Mass Effect. I think that would be really weird. Anyway, if you liked this video, please give it a like. Keep an eye on Minius GC for more Mass Effect videos, but for now...
I should go.